sales is harder today than it has been in the last probably 4 years for sure. And even I'd go back probably 2 decades. So most people who are still in selling roles are running into some new brick walls and some new barriers that they have not had to deal with, any time in their career, to be honest. So we have 3 main contributors to what's kind of happening right now. One of the primary contributors is this. We have an uncertain market because of all the macroeconomic noise. So if you're selling to large companies, they're starting to slow down and pause a little bit because, in the United States, as an example, there's, in case you haven't paid attention before this episode was gone, there's an election that's occurring. In addition to that, there's kind of an unstable interest rate environment. So the larger the company is that you're trying to sell to, they have more concerns about that. I think the second thing that's actually contributing to things slowing down is there's all this talk and hubbub about the idea of how to use artificial intelligence to do other things in organizations. But nobody's figured out how to do it. And so things that you would normally have outsourced or bought from sellers and other companies, if they're kind of task-oriented and they're lower value contributions, those particular things are not necessarily things that are now getting the same urgency in dollars. And then the third component I think that's really happened with sellers is this: remote work and their inability or being ineffective at changing how they go about their days and their lives and taking control of those things, because in this environment, it's never been more true than it is today. You are what you do. And I think sellers are doing less. Okay, let's really talk about the truth about what's happening and whether or not we're enabling sellers to do their jobs effectively. No, we're not. That hasn't changed. In spite of the fact that sales training statistically has the highest return on many of the things that you can invest in for personal development, you get $2.46 back for every dollar you invest. So a dollar yields $3.46 in return, but somehow we don't invest in that. And so there is this malaise of the Peter principle. So we have three things going on within organizations. One, the Peter principles exist, and that is salespeople are being promoted to their level of incompetence. So I'm going from a seller to a manager to a regional manager to a VP, but nobody's training me on how to actually get more out of people. They're promoting me because I was good in my job, and I don't understand as a seller that the truth is I don't have to take the promotion. And there's a totally different way that you need to go motivate others. So you have that first of all. Second, they tend to think that sales is an art. So organizations, managers are like, well, I don't get it. Like, why can't Susie be successful? Because, I was. And so they think, oh, you either have it or you don't. And that's complete crap. Because sales is 75% science and frameworks and infrastructure and process. And we don't have that inside the organization, and we haven't found a way, like we talk about all the time, to use AI to enable an organization so it doesn't have to be one-on-one. I mean, how are you going to level up the organization, right? And then the third component is we like to blame people, right? You get one person managing 8 people, and that one person says, I don't know why they can't do it. I'm like, well, what have you done for coaching? Oh, well, I helped them price a deal. That's not coaching. When you got off a phone call, what did you do to understand what the actual sales questions were in that call? Did you say to him, hey, Izzy, so at this point, why didn't you ask this question? Or Izzy, hey, what would you have asked instead of that? Or do you think we could have gone deeper on that? What you end up saying to them is, hey, nice call. The opportunity's moving forward in a stage. Managers have to have one thing and one thing only that they know. If you want your life to be easy as a manager and you want to crush quota, then your job is to improve the critical thinking skills of your team. And unfortunately, organizations are doing a very poor job of it. And that's part of the reason why 75% of sellers miss quota in the first half of this year. And if I had a soapbox, I'd be stepping on it right now to get even taller about this issue. So yeah, it's troublesome because it's only going to get harder to sell in this environment. And there's the other conversation that we need to continue to have, whether it's now or at some point, and that is, what's AI actually going to do to the sales organization? Right? There's two sides. How does it support it? But what's it going to do to it? Who's going to have a job? Like, that's a question we got to answer.